Hey everybody, I'm here with a Canada's Worst Driver, episode 1 for season 12, sort of, not really an update, but just sort of my take on how the episode went, at least for me. And just, this is just my take on the weirdness of seeing myself on television and on me and my experience. Please no, bashing anybody in the comments below or anything like that, because when you spend that much time with people on a show, you kind of get to know everybody and, you make friends and that kind of thing. So, but I just kind of want to let you know what it was sort of like for me. The first thing that I have to say is that you can go to the website, you can see my audition tape. I'll put the links below. You can watch the first episode, especially I know those of you who are outside of Canada may have not have even seen the show. So you can click on the link. I don't know if it works outside of Canada, to be honest, but I just, I'll put it there and hopefully cross our fingers it works. But for those of you who aren't aware of the show, Canada's Worst Driver is a reality show where they take 8 bad drivers and you go to this driver rehabilitation center, and every week there's a different episode where we do challenges and we take lessons, and every week somebody graduates, or almost every week somebody graduates, until they get down to the final, usually about 3 people, and you do a final drive around and then they announce who the worst person is out of the 3. So so that is the general premise of the show, and of course the goal is nobody wants to be the worst driver, right? The reason that I went on the show is because I am a pretty inexperienced driver. Like, I'm 40, well, I'm 42 now, but I was 41 when we filmed the show, and I just got my license when I was 40, and I don't feel confident about driving. Like, I'm scared to drive because I know that a mistake can hurt someone. It can even kill somebody. So I don't want to do that. I want to be a safe driver. I want to, I'm really nervous about it. I want to be safe. I want people on the road to be safe. I want everybody to be safe. I want, and of course I want to be safe too, right? So I'm just not as confident. I think if I had, learned when I was like 16 or 17, I know when you're that age, you think nothing's going to happen to you and you're just, you're way more confident. But at this age, I realize the gravity and the responsibility of driving. So that's what makes me really nervous. And because of that, I've kind of avoided it, which is probably not the best way to deal with it. So I felt like this was a way to just kind of jump in there, force myself to do it, force myself to confront things and learn. And that's what I was really there to do, is just learn as much as I could and gain as much confidence as I could so I could be better. Now, of course, it is a TV show and they're going to show you, like the worst and the best moments. And I realize, there's going to be people who watch me who may not like me or may make fun of me. And that was kind of like, well, you know what? If people are like that, that's about them and that's not about me. And I went there to learn, and, well, you'll have to watch to see how I do. I can't tell you that. You'll have to watch. But so the audition tape shows me driving around Winnipeg, and I drove the SUV, which I had not driven before. I've driven the car that we have before, but not the SUV. So that was pretty scary for me, and it was rush hour down Main Street, and for me, it was pretty scary. You'll see me here say the phrase, I don't like it. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this, right? Of course, they're not going to show the parts where you were calmly driving. They're going to show the parts where I'm scared, right? Nothing happened, but I was scared. And then so we went to Worst Driver. If you've seen the episode, we start at Niagara Falls and we have to drive to Dumbville, which is about an hour and a half drive away. They give you instructions, and I looked at the instructions and I saw that it said that I had to merge onto the QEW 407, which is, it's a big highway. It's a big, busy highway. And I was like, oh no, like this is scary for me. And if you watch the episode, you'll see that they don't show much of me driving. But just, it was completely uneventful for me. That's why they don't show it. Although they do show me saying, this is the furthest I've ever driven before, which is true. I'd never driven for like 90, like straight. And it was in a place I didn't know at all. And you know what? I only made one wrong turn with the instructions that they gave me. So I was pretty proud of that. And I figured it out. and I got on a map and I figured where I went wrong, and I didn't panic or cry, and I turned around and I went back. So I was really, really excited about that. As well, I got onto the highway. I got on, you know what? I was so excited. I got on no problem. I was like, oh my God, I'm on this. I'm doing it. I got off the right exit. Like, I was really, really proud of myself for doing that. So I got to the center, and I was feeling like pretty good, because I was like, oh my God, like I did this. And you know, when you're driving, they have all these GoPros in the car, but they also have a cameraman with you. And my big thing was, I was like, I have to make sure the cameraman's safe, because I want everyone to be safe. You know, that's my whole thing. And then we got there, and then you have to pull in front of your big picture on the wall. And my reversing when I went there was not good. And I know that. I'm very aware of that. And so I backed in like really wonky and stuff. I didn't really show it. See, this thing, I'm telling you this because there's lots of stuff that you don't see, because they have to condense this down, right, into, you know, like an hour show, and there's like 8 people. So they're going to show like, you know, the best and the worst, right? So, but just so you know, my backing in was not good. Reversing, not good. And then they showed the assessment challenge. The assessment challenge, you have to reverse through a lane of like, there's these rims, and you don't want to knock into them. And then you have to do a turnaround in sort of a concrete sort of corral, and then you do a slalom at 50K with foam people. And you're doing it in this beautiful Mustang, which I was like, oh my God, I do not want to wreck this car. I don't want to wreck this car. So I tried to be very careful. I did knock into things when I was reversing, and it did take me, I didn't realize it took me that long. I knew it took me a long time, but they said it was 30 minutes to do the reversing and 30 minutes to get through the corral. And I was like, oh God, like that's a long time. But I was really worried about wrecking the car. So in my defense, I did not want to wreck anything. So the slalom part, it's weird how what's in your mind and what you see on TV can be different. Actually, seeing yourself on TV, that's a whole other, it's so weird. It's like a bizarre out-of-body experience. You're like, do I really look that way? Like, that's really weird. I'm used to seeing myself on YouTube, but TV, that's the whole different ball game, obviously. So in my mind, it felt super fast. When I knocked into those foam people, like, you only see me on the TV like cry for like a second. I bawled. Like, I was so upset, because to me, like, those foam people, those could be real people. Like, I don't want to hurt anyone. I don't want to hurt anyone. I want to be a safe, good driver. And I remember going back to the hotel just thinking, like, I have a friend who was killed in a car accident, and I was just kept thinking about her and thinking about that, and just thinking about the foam people, and just, it was really, really upsetting for me, that slalom there. And then I had to remind myself, like, this is why you're here. Like, this is the assessment challenge. You're assessing where you're at. And I have to remember that, like, this is what I'm saying to myself all the time. Like, you have to remember you're not experienced, and you're here to get experience and get confidence. So that's kind of how I was able, like, okay, like, you know what, reset, we're gonna keep going. So that's kind of like how that day was for me, like, as far as like the challenges and everything. If you watch the show, you know, of course, there's like 8 of us, and I'm just one of them. And you know, next week, you know, we'll start doing more of like the challenges and things like that. But it's a very strange experience being on TV, and it's also kind of strange the way people react to you having been on TV. I haven't had anything really from strangers yet, but people I know, a lot of people are extremely supportive, and I have to say thank you so much to the people who supported me, who just said, like, don't worry, honey, you're learning, and you know, just telling me like, oh, I hope you do well, and all that kind of stuff. It means a lot to kind of have people behind you saying that they're wishing you well, and that they hope that you do well. So I just kind of want to let you guys in on kind of what it was like. And I was thinking of maybe doing something like this after each episode, just saying like, this was what it was like for me. Let me know what you think. If you want to hear more about it, let me know. And, you know, like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys all next time. Thank you.